Ugh. You could tell I'm still wearing the same clothes. It is Sunday night. And this team is a great old dumpster fire. What is up, Finn fans? How's everyone doing on this Monday morning, after the Miami Dolphins yet again choke away a victory? They choked away a victory against the Patriots. They choked away a victory against the Bills. They choked away a victory against the Panthers. And yet again, they choke a victory away against the Chargers. It's a dumpster fire, man. Hence the title of the video, hence the thumbnail. It's bad. And there's going to be some things we're going to talk about. Some things that Tua Tagovailoa said that isn't isn't boding well, especially we just got to get into this stuff. But first and foremost, got to shout out the sponsors. First and foremost, y'all know about Sleeper. Love Sleeper. Use them a ton. Use the promo code DDW, you get 100% up to $100. And again, you get a free $20 entry. No deposit you need it. Use the link in the description and go check out Sleeper, as well as a sponsor that is coming back. We've had the sponsor before, and that is Mando. Mando, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I talk about them constantly about their deodorants that last 24 hours. Actually, sorry, 72 hours. My apologies. You got the deodorant, you got the body cream. Love this stuff. Smells great. All that good stuff. Again, can't endorse it enough. And I tell you guys that when I'm sponsored and I get you guys great discounts on this stuff, it's because I use it and I love it. So the Mando starter pack is perfect for any one of you guys who hasn't used this stuff before. It comes with the solid deodorant stick that again smells amazing. It comes with the cream tube deodorant and 2 free products of your choice, whether it's the mini body wash or the deodorant wipes, and you get free shipping. So as a special offer for my listeners, again, this is what I do. I'm like, ooh, I like this product. What can I do for them? You get 20% off site-wide on with my exclusive code. You might be asking yourself, what's that code? Obviously, it's DDW. So use the code DDW and shop at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Shopmando. And again, you get 20% off site-wide, as well as free shipping. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and a hello to long-lasting freshness, because football season's here and we're all sweating because our team sucks. So let's get into this. I don't want to get into this. I'm being honest with you. There's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, and I don't want to get into this. Apparently somebody told me that Mike McDaniel talked with Stephen Ross, and essentially McDaniel said that the team is battling, no one is quitting, and he said he only lost by 2, and that Stephen Ross kind of just walked away from him. So, but this is what bothers me, right? And I want to talk about this because I have defended Tua. Look, when Tua does something that earns my defense, I'll defend him. And when Tua does something that earns my critiques, I will critique him. And when Tua made the comment about seeing his kids, right? The question was essentially, hey, what do you take or what do you do with all the criticisms and everything that people give you online? And he talks about going and seeing his kids, and it kind of, doesn't really matter to him. And then he uses the extreme example of, it doesn't matter if I throw 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. When I go see my kids, everything's Gucci. When he said that, I was like, people are really blowing that out of proportion. It's not that big of a deal. Some people were like, hey, we want to see him, fight and and completely ignore all the other things. But then this man came out after the game yesterday and said, Tua tells reporters the Dolphin players have been late and or skipping players-only meetings in recent weeks. Eye-opening example of problems with the 1-5 Dolphins. Tua begins answer, it starts with the leadership. This man comes out here and just starts pointing fingers. He was late. He was late. Like, again, I will defend what is defensible. But this, on the other hand, sounds like a petty child coming out and being like, well, he was late. And then Emmanuel Acho comes out and says the Dolphins have to fire their coaches after this statement. Tua also just incriminated himself. He doesn't have the respect of all his teammates. If players are skipping player-only meetings, this is not a healthy reverence of leadership and authority inside the walls. Yes, 1,000%, 1,000,000%, yes. And then Barry Jackson came out and said, to be clear, because it is being portrayed incorrectly nationally, when Tua is talking about players showing up late to a players only meeting or not showing up at all, he's not talking about what everyone thinks when they're thinking player only meetings, the type where teams are losing. He's referring to position meetings where players, beyond what they do with coaches, discuss the week's opponent, strategy, nuance of the game, etc. Those are meetings in the D-line. The DBs asked the coaches to start attending recently. Barry, I love you, man. I love what you do. You have some really great insight, but it doesn't matter. It's the fact that this man threw, I only say 2 because the 1 interception was on Jalen Waddle, but this man comes out here and throws interceptions. And then in his presser, and again, I didn't see the full presser because honestly, I didn't care. I'm at the point where I'm mentally drained. And at this point, until they make a move, they're not going to get a happy Doug. He comes out, he says this. Like, are you kidding me? like, seriously, dude? You had a bad game, right? Yes, we marched down the field and we scored 2 touchdowns, took the 1-point lead, and with Jalen Phillips not tackling Justin Herbert, and then another, I think it was Trader, not tackling McConkey, really screwed the game up for us. But like, you come out and this is what you say. Well, they did. Then Mitchell Schwartz comes out and says, isn't he just telling on himself? He is the leader of the team, and guys aren't showing up to the players-only meeting. It has nothing to do with coaches or front office. Players-only meetings are governed by the players. Very weird to talk about and admit. And again, I guess this is where Barry comes in and says, well, technically he's talking about blah, blah, blah. He's talking about position meetings, not player-only meetings, and yada, yada. And it gets worse, right? Because Kurt Warner comes in. And Kurt Warner says, I hear your point. Talking about what Jordan Schultz says, and this is very clear. And then Ed Werder says this is a very clear indictment of the head coach already in trouble. Then Kurt Warner comes out and says, I hear your point. Being a pro means you have a standard that you hold yourself accountable to no matter what. It's not expecting someone else to hold you to that standard, get you ready to do your job or motivate you to want to be great. To blame another person / coach, etc. for your lack of professionalism is a cop-out, in my opinion. So essentially he's saying, you know, these guys should want to be there. These guys should be on time because they want to be good. And it's just what they should want as being a professional. He also comes out and says, my point is, if a coach has to police his players, he has the wrong players. While you are saying if a coach doesn't police his players well enough, you have the wrong coach. We'll see the world through different lenses. So essentially, again, Kurt Warner saying, you should, as a player who wants to be good, who wants to win games, who wants to, move forward, you should have that fight and drive in yourself, and you shouldn't have to have somebody, rile you up to play at your high standards, which he's correct. But also your head coach should have some type of, whatever. And then again, you have Devon Achane who comes out and talks about starting 1 and 5. He says, we got to make sure that we hold each other accountable. As men, we signed the contract to be on this team. It doesn't matter practice games. We still got to show up and make sure we are we're out there giving 100%. Do you see the difference between the things that are said? One man is saying, we got guys showing up to players only meetings late. Guy's not showing up to player only meetings. Come on. And Devon Achane is like, we got to hold each other accountable. You know, it's two different things, right? Two different things. Then, what else? Des Bryant also comes out and says, I want to know what part of this he's going to take accountability for. Tua threw 3 picks today, technically 2. Tua is the 3rd in the NFL with the most interceptions thrown by a quarterback. If you haven't said this privately first, then in the media, I don't respect it. And since we're on the topic of respect, I guarantee a lot of the players don't respect Tua. Tua pointing fingers and literally has 4 pointing back at him. If you want to win, put yours in. Which, again, he's not really wrong in that aspect, because if this is something that is being said in the locker room and Tua's coming out and saying, like, listen, you know, you guys are late, we got to, and it keeps happening, then sure. But is it? Baker Jackson also comes out and says the defense and the roster construction are the primary reasons we are where we are. Tua would need to be consistently elite to overcome the stinky D, pause, and all of the personnel mistakes. He's very good at times, mediocre at other times, but not elite. It seems simple enough. And he is 1,000% correct. Barry is 100% correct. He's very good at times, mediocre at others, but he's not elite. And I said this in a previous video where if you expect your quarterback to be perfect all the time, you built your team wrong. And it's 100% that. 100,000% that. And this is where, again, this team is a dumpster fire. Because we are in a situation where we had 3 years of Chris Grier and the team was built poorly and they went nowhere. So guess what they did? They fired Adam Gase. But they didn't fire Chris Grier because it was Mike Tannenbaum. We take Mike Tannenbaum and we just move him to a different position. Hey, we're not firing you, but we're just going to put you in this storage closet. Then we go and get Brian Flores. And we're like, hey, listen, Brian, we don't want to win any games. And Brian's like, I'm a head coach. I understand that. We don't want to win any games. So, blah, blah, blah. So then he sells a bunch of pieces, right? So then Chris Grier, with like 6 first-round picks, a ton of cap space, yada, yada, gets 3 years, right? In his 3rd year, the team starts 1-7. At that point, I wanted to fire everyone. Guess what? We're 1-5. I want to fire everyone. I'm very consistent about who I hold accountable, if you've noticed that. So, Chris Grier, right? Back to the start. You're at 1-7. The team's bad. Guess what? They don't fire Chris Grier. And he starts again. Brings in Mike McDaniel, right? First year starts off, not bad. I think we made the playoffs in 2022. Yeah, Buffalo Bills. 2023, taking off like a rocket out of hell. 2024, start 2-6. Now we're here at 1-5. Do you see the problem? Do you get the insanity of me rotating and giving you the timeline that Chris Grier has survived for 3 straight times? Do you see what I'm doing here? Do you see it? There's a common denominator over 3 separate regimes. That's the problem. You picking up what I'm putting down? Are you drinking my tea, Kimosabi? Because holy crap. Now, I'm recording this Sunday night. This will be out 7 a.m. Monday. I have no idea if anyone's been fired. There hasn't been any notion, any hint, any iota of anything that anything is going to be done, right? I said yesterday on stream, and I said yesterday in a tweet that, hey, the bright side, someone's going to get fired tomorrow. They could not. I have no idea. Here's my thing. And again, this team sucks. Like, honestly, Miami Dolphins, Joe Shad put this out. Miami Dolphins are 1-5. The defense is ranked 30th in total defense, 28th in scoring defense, 32 in rushing defense, 20th in passing defense. They also faced a decimated offensive line and got 1 sack. Should have been 2 if Jalen Phillips, who is my favorite player, but I'm at that point, made the flipping tackle. Like, what, are you afraid to hit somebody? But with all that being said, going into halftime, the Miami Dolphins were up 13-9. They held the Chargers to 9 points. And then your offense didn't score any points for a whole quarter. It's like, yes, don't get me wrong, the defense is to blame, but also offense, do something, man. Like, score some flipping points. Make some passes. So, I'll say this for the 4 millionth time. If I'm the owner, I fire Chris Grier. Did Mike McDaniel lose the locker room? Yes, I think he has officially lost the locker room. I think this is it. We're facing a Cleveland Browns team, just so you know. Yesterday, Dylan Gabriel completed 4 passes over 10 yards in the air. He threw the ball 52 times. We will lose to the Cleveland Browns. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a spoiler. We are losing to the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. You know why? Because they're not a good football team. But you know what? We're worse. So, if you want to continue to lose, keep Mike McDaniel as your head coach. But do not trust Chris Grier to get you draft capital and to make the right decisions with this team going forward. Because that man doesn't know what he's doing for the life of him. 3 different head coaches, tons of capital. What I say, like 800 million. I think I said 21 picks in the first 2 rounds. And we are right back where we started in 2019, where we are about to tear it down. And let me get to Tua real quick, because if we're talking about a dumpster fire of a team, there's Tua. There is something off with Tua. And I've been saying that for the first 3 weeks. I've got a little pushback with people saying, I don't think so, and blah, 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 blah. There is something off with Tua. There was something off with Tua last year, and we even noticed it in 2022 when we had that little stretch where we faced the 49ers and the Chargers, and it's happening again. He is sailing passes that he normally should make. He is just, again, he'll make some throws here and there that are nice, but he's very inconsistent with his throws. Even the deep pass to Jalen Waddle yesterday, who had to catch the ball like 5 different times, he just threw the ball up in the air, and Jalen Waddle had to like look back, find it. Like, I honestly think, and if you go back and watch my draft prospect video in 2020, I talked about, if the Dolphins take him, I am terrified of that hip injury, because that hip injury is not going to get better. It's going to be something that is going to pop up and get worse. Well, guess what? His hip injury kept him out of the end of last year, and his hip injury had him pop up on the injury report this past week. And his mechanics are not good. He's not driving the ball through his hips. He doesn't have good footwork. There's something off about him. And I said this about Ryan Tannehill his 7th year in. So literally the year that we traded him, I said Dolphins should trade Tannehill. Now, at the time, I got pushback from Tannehill fans, and then I got pushback from non-Tannehill fans saying, you think you're going to get anything for Tannehill? And then we end up getting a 4th, but we paid a little bit of his contract, whatever. But my whole thought process on Tannehill was that Tannehill's not a bad quarterback. Tannehill needs a change of scenery. He needs a team that isn't going to depend on him to be the guy, and he'll be successful. Guess what happened? He went to Tennessee. He had Derrick Henry. He had a team that wasn't dependable on him, and he was successful. Got the number 1 seed. Obviously didn't make the Super Bowl, but he was more successful than he was in Miami. I'm in that same boat with Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's not going to have any success with Miami. first and foremost, the team was not built around him correctly. And I'll get pushed back to, blue in the face. And I've said this on Twitter. I'm done arguing about Tua. I'm not arguing about him anymore. So you can comment below being like, you don't know what you're talking about. Or you can call me a Tua-neer. You can call me a flip-flopper. You can call, I'm just done. I'm going to keep doing my thing and give you my thoughts and opinions. I'm going to like comments that are sound mind and give me constructive criticism. But to the people who just want to call me names and stuff, you're talking into an echo chamber and I'm not going to hear it. But Tua's not a big quarterback. This team was built poorly around Tua. You have a quarterback who's injury prone, who's not mobile, who needs a run game and needs not an elite or even perfect, but needs a good offensive line in front of him. What did the Miami Dolphins do? They spent the third least amount on offensive line. They spent the third least amount draft capital on offensive line. They went out and got speedy short receivers. They got pass rushers and running backs. But you didn't fortify the offensive line, which is consistently year in and year out the problem. And again, you have an injury-prone, not mobile quarterback. Do you see how they did not build the team properly for him? Watch Tua go to a team that builds the trenches and watch him be successful. I will bet you he wins a playoff game with his new team. Because me personally, I think the Dolphins should move off from Tua. I think they should trade him. And if I'm Tua, I think I'm demanding a trade this offseason. I'm like, I don't want to come back to this organization. They tried to get Deshaun Watson. You had to deal with the Brian Flores situation. You had to deal with your whole concussion situation. You had to deal with them telling him, you'll get the ball out quick. Don't worry about the offensive line. There's like thing after thing after thing after thing that this guy had to deal with the Miami Dolphins, that if I'm Tua, I'm like, trade me. I would demand a trade. I don't want to be on this team anymore. Go send me somewhere else. And again, for me, trading Tua is not about what you can get back, but more about clearing up cap space. And if a team's like, hey, we'll give you a 7th round for Tua, say it's the Saints, say it's, I don't know, let me look at quarterback needy teams. Whatever quarterback needy team you can think of that would like to have a backup quarterback. Obviously, it's going to be expensive, so you might have to pay a little bit of that cap space. But you're looking at more of a Southern team, more of a dome team, because that's where he kind of is his bread and butter. Like I said, Carolina, Atlanta, Saints, like the NFC South. Any of those teams want him for 7th? Here you go. You also could look at cap space. And see who will have the most cap space next year that could take on something like that. Tennessee will have 113 million. Buccaneers, no, the Buccaneers don't need them. Buccaneers need to pay their own guy right now. Where's the Saints? Where are the Saints? Are they at the bottom again? I can't find the Saints for the life of me. Titans, Chargers, Bears. Oh, Saints are 14 million in cap space. Holy crap. They will never get out of cap hell. The Dolphins right now are negative 11 million in cap space. But Jesus. Holy moly. But that's what I'm saying. Again, it's not about what we could get back. It's more about clearing up cap space. Now, I'm going to make a whole video talking about who we should trade at the trade deadline and all this stuff. And it's going to be a long list. It's going to be a long laundry list. But overall, this team is just not good, man. Second half falling apart again, no pass rush, the penalties, the negative plays, the play calling. Like, I'm trying to look at my sheet of paper from yesterday that I stopped taking notes at some point because I was just like, I'm beat down. I don't feel like taking notes anymore. The penalties, it's just one thing after another. And again, people are like, why do you want to fire McDaniel? Which again, I want to fire Greer first, but why do you want to fire McDaniel if it was the defense that is the problem? It's because he's the head coach. If he was the offense, if I'm sitting up here saying we got to fire Frank Smith, then yes, I can see you sitting there being like, you're dumb. But He's the head coach. So all these penalties, the not being prepared, we even said last week about the Panthers game, we weren't prepared. We weren't this, we weren't that. That's on him. So it's just not, man. And then to find out that Stephen Ross went down to the field to celebrate the win yesterday, and then just to sit there and watch them lose. Like, how do you as an owner sit there and take that, man? You lose to a quarterback that they passed up on for Tua. Across the field as a head coach that you've tried to get before but didn't get, and you're going to sit here and not make a move? Again, this is coming out at 7 a.m. If he does get fired today, I will make a video and we'll talk about it. I have a list of 9 GMs I want, 9 head coaches I want. I've already gave you a little bit of a spoiler that Darren Rizzi is one of them. But this team sucks, man. It's a bad team. I talked about it yesterday. They'll win 3 games at most. Every little thing about this team is just falling apart bit by bit, and it's only going to get worse. They beat me down, man. They beat me down. But do you blame me? 2-6 last year. We're 1-5 right now. And the thing that pisses me off the most is you're looking around the NFL right now, and teams, you don't know who's good or bad. That's what like really chaps my cheeks right now, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Like Arizona almost beat Indy, so it's like, Indy, what's going on with you? You have the Ravens who aren't doing well. You have Kansas City who just beat Detroit. So is Kansas City all of a sudden good now after losing to the Jaguars? And then the Jaguars lost to Seattle. So it's like, wait, and it's just like up and down. If Miami would have just built the team better, played better, you don't know where they would be right now. They are simple plays away from being a better team. Not running into the kicker, not throwing interceptions, making stops on defense. It's just like little things here and there from being 4-1, but they're not. And that's the problem. So comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you tomorrow, or maybe today. Maybe I'll find you later today if the Dolphins make a move. But tomorrow I will do a film breakdown to kind of, again, look like, Tua, what are you throwing here? And the offensive line, and come on, make a move here. And I promised you guys I would show the head smack from Aaron Brewer on the offsides. So there's that. It only can go up from here, right? The bright side is, let me look this up. Let me look before we get out of here. We're still 4th in the Tankathon because Cleveland lost, Baltimore lost, we lost, the Saints lost, and Tennessee lost. So we're ahead of the Saints and Tennessee. And then we have Baltimore and Cleveland, who we play. So again, if we lose to Baltimore and Cleveland, we go to the number 2 pick. So you kind of hope that the Jets start to win, because if the Jets start winning, all of a sudden Miami Dolphins have the number 1 overall pick. And then it gets very enticing to have the number 1 overall pick. It's very enticing for GMs and head coaches to want to come here. But I will see you either later today or tomorrow. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.